Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is episode 7 of Learn How to Sudoku, which is basically taking a very easy puzzle and trying to break things down enough so that people can actually learn potentially some tricks and some just logic of how to solve variant Sudokus. Uh, ooh, we are on the wrong tab. This is today's tab. And today's puzzle is called Foganapur. And it's by one of our favorite setters, Megan33. Anyways, here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, column, and 3x3 box. Adjacent cells along a green German whisper line must have a difference of at least 5. So for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be an 8 or a 9 to basically have a difference of at least 5 between the two digits. So that's what German whisper lines do. Digits along a magenta red band line form a set of consecutive, non-repeating digits in any order. So we know if this were a 1, it would have to contain a 2, 3, and a 4 along the line too, because the only set of consecutive digits that contain a 1 is specifically 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can't have repeats again on the Renban lines. So that is how Renban line works. A black dot between cells indicates cell values with a 2-to-1 ratio. So for example, if this were a 2, this would have to be a 1 or a 4 to maintain the 1-to-2 ratio between the two cells. A white dot between cells indicates cells with consecutive values. Not all dots are given. So if, for example, this were a 7, this would have to be a 6 or an 8 to basically make that consecutive. And these are called Kropke dots. And they're called black Kropke dots and white Kropke dots. So this is a very common rule that we have in variant Sudoku. Digits in a white circle must appear at least once in the 4 surrounding cells. So these are called quad circles, and they're basically any digit that is within this quad circle must be in the 4 cells surrounding that quad circle. So therefore, there has to be a 1, a 5, and a 9 surrounding this quad circle in one of the 4 surrounding cells. And that's all that means. The grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. No guessing is required. So this is this is basically saying that you can logic out all of this puzzle without guessing. So, and I'm not sure why you would want to randomly guess digits. It sort of defeats the purpose of having the fog of war and sort of, makes it trivial. Anyways, those are all the rules. If you'd like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay, so these are consecutive. One thing we know about, so 1, 5, and 9 have to be in these 4 cells. So that's just by the quad rule. Therefore, none of 1, 5, or 9 can be here. Since these are consecutive, they must be in the same... on a German whisper line, you always have low numbers next to high numbers. So if you have a 1 through 4, it can never be next to another 1 through 5 on a German whisper line, right? So you always alternate between highs and lows. Therefore, these two are different sets. One is high, one is low. But the thing is, these are consecutive. Now, there's no 5 there, so it can never jump from 1 through 4 to 5. It always has to stay in the same set. So these two sets are the same. We're going to make them green. Therefore, these two sets must be different from these sets, so they must be the same set there. So we're going to make those yellow. Now, what does this mean? We're not quite sure. Well, okay, this cannot be 1, 5, or 9. So this could still be 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8. If this is 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8, so say it's 2, 3, or 4, this can never be 9 because obviously the 9 can't be there. So this can never be 4. If this is 2 or 3, this has to be 7 or 8. If this is 7 or 8, this has to be, it cannot be 9 because the 9 again is one of those 4 cells. So this has to be 6, 7, or 8 if that's the case. Well, if this is 6, 7, or 8, well, it can't be 6 for the first of all. So because this can't be 6. 6 would have to be next to a 1 on a German whisper line, which cannot be here. So therefore, this can't be 6. Therefore, we know this is a 7-8 pair. This would also have to be with 2 or 3, because if this is 2, or if this is 3, this would have to be 8, this would be 7. The 1 can't be here, and then the 7 would have to be with a 2. If this is 2, this can't be 8, because then this would be 7, but it would have to be next to something that's not a 1 or 2, which is not possible on a German whisper line. So this would have to be 2 and 7, and this would be 8 and 3, because it could not be 4 here. Now, if this was high, this can't be 6, because if it were 6, it would have to be with a 1. And 1 we know in box 5 has to be one of those 4 cells. And we number in variant Sudoku, well, actually, just in Sudoku in general, we say this is box 1, this is box 2, this is box 3, 4, 5, 6, because that's how most Westerners usually read language and numbers. So that makes it easy. So this is box 5 for us. So if this is high, it cannot have a 6. It has to specifically be 8. And it has to be with 2 or 3. Now, if this is 2 or 3, this could be 2, 3, or 4. But if this is 4, it would have to be next to a 9 on a German whisper line. Therefore, this is 2 or 3 also. Therefore, if this is 8, this has to be 2 or 3. This has to be 2 or 3. This cannot be 9. It would have to be a high, but it can't be 8 or 9. So it could be 7 at most. It cannot be, it would have, or 6, I guess, but the 6 has to be with a 1 on a German whisper line. Therefore, this can't be 6. Therefore, we know this would have to be a 7 then if this were high. So now we have a 2, 3, 7 quadruple, which means we have 4 cells which contain 4 specific digits. Because of that, if you ever have a cell in the same box with one of those 4 digits, that would break one of these cells, because we only have 4 digits to place in 4 boxes. If you remove one, then you have 3 digits you can only place in 4 boxes, which is not going to work. So the rest of the cell cannot contain 2, 3, 7, or 8. Therefore, this is 1, 5, and 9. The rest of the cells must contain 4 or 6. Now, if this is 2 or 3, it cannot, if it contains a 2, the 3 can't be on this Renban, and the 2 would require the 3 to be on the Renban. Therefore, this cannot be 2, which means this can't be 3. So this is 2 or 8, and it must be with a 1 or a 4 then. This is 3 or 7, so if this is 3, it has to be with an 8. So it cannot be with 7. If this is 7, it has to be with a 2. So now we have a 2, 8, 2, 8 pair. Therefore, in the rest of the box 5, there cannot be a 2 and 8, so therefore this can't be 2 or 8. This has to be 3 or 7. So if this is 3, it cannot contain a 1, because the 2 has to be one of these. So this can't be 1. it has to be 4, 5, and 6. If this is 7, the 8 has to be here, so the 7 cannot be on the Renban, 8 cannot be on the Renban line, so therefore 9 cannot be here. Therefore, we have a 4, 5, 6 triplet in box 5, which means 4, 5, and 6 cannot be in the rest of the box. Therefore, this is 1 and 9, which means this cannot be 1, this must be a 4. Now, in this quad, this is saying there has to be a 2, a 5, and an 8 surrounding it. Well, we have 3 cells only, and we have 3 digits that we have to place in those 3 boxes. Therefore, this has to be 2, 5, and 8. This is consecutive with 4, so therefore, this must be a 3 or 5. Well, we know the 5 has to be one of these two, so this can't be 5. So therefore, this has to be 3, which means this can't be 3. This must be 7. Which means this has to be 5 away from the 7, so it must be 2. This is consecutive with 7, therefore this is 8. Therefore, this can't be 7, this must be 3. Now, this can't be 2 because of this 2. What do we know about this? The 2 in box 1 has to be one of those 2 because we know there's a 2 around this quad and it can't be here, so it must be one of those 2. This could be 1 or 3 if this is 2. It could be 4, 6 if this is 5. Okay, this is too broad, so that's not helpful. This cannot be 1, 2 because of this 2. It cannot be 2, 4 because of this 2. It can't be 4, 8 because of this 8. Therefore, this has to be a 3, 6 pair. Now, this says there's a 6 in one of these 4 squares. It cannot be here because we know there's the 6 in box 8 has to be one of these 2. Therefore, this has to contain a 6. Since this is a 6 and this is a 6, we have a 6 in row 7 or 8. We have another 6 in row 7 or 8. Therefore, the rest of the cells in row 7 and 8 cannot contain a 6. Therefore, this cannot be 6, which forces this to be a 6. Now, on a Renban line, you always have a 5. Sorry, in a 5-length Renban line, you always have a 5. This can't be 5, obviously, so one of these 3 must be a 5 because this can't be 5. If this is 5, this would have to be 6 to be with it, right? Or if this is 5, it would have to have a 6 to be with it, to be consecutive. But if this is 6 and 5, this can no longer have a 6 on the rest of the Renban line, so therefore this would be 3. So this would have to be 3, 5, and 6. Well, to be consecutive, you would also have to have a 4. But where is the 4? It would have to be here, but we already have a 4 here. Therefore, 5 cannot be either of these digits because it would have to have a 6 with it. Therefore, this can't be 5, and this has to be 5. Because again, on this Renban, there's 5 digits that are consecutive. So it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which has a 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which has a 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which has a 5, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which has a 5. Therefore, there is a 5 on this Renban, and it has to be here. So this is 5, which makes this 8, which makes this 2, which makes this a 5 because of the quad glue. So this is either 1 or 3. This is 5. 4 cannot be any of these cells, and it cannot be this one. Therefore, if there was a 3 on here, we would need a 4 here, but there cannot be a 4 on the Renban line. Therefore, this must be a 6, and this must be 3, and this cannot have a 4, so it must be the set of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 can't be here or here, therefore this must be 8, which makes this 7 or 9, and this 7 or 9, but this can't be a 7. Therefore, this must be 9, and this must be 7. Let's see, what else do we have? This can't be 6 anymore, therefore this has to be the 6. To complete the quad, we have to have a 7 or 9 here somewhere. one of these two has to be high, right? Because as I said before, on a German whisper line, you alternate between low and high. Well, the high cannot be 8 or 9 amongst these pair, right? So this can't be 8 or 9. And it can't be 6 because we already have the 6s here, and the 6 has to be in box 7 in one of these 3 cells. Therefore, what's left of the highs? It can only be 7. And 7 can only be next to 1 or 2. And the 2 can't be here. Therefore, this must be 1. So this is a 1-7 pair, which means we have in the rest of column 2, it has to be 3, 4, and 6. So this is 3, 4, 6, or this is 3, 4, 6. What can be next to here? Well, for one thing, 9 can never be these two. Okay, this can't be 6. If this is 7, this would have to be 2. If this is 1, it can't be 7, obviously, and it would have to be 9. So this is 2 or 9. These are consecutive. It cannot contain an 8, so it cannot be 8, 9. It cannot be 7, 8. It can't contain a 6, so it can't be 6, 7, or 5, 6. It could be 4 and 5, or it could be 1 and 2. Because 3 is out. It can't be 3, 4, or 2, 3. So these are the only possibilities. Because 8 eliminates 7, 9, 8, 9, and 8, 7. 6 eliminates 6, 7, and 5, 6. So this is either 1, 2, or 4, 5 to be consecutive. Well, if this is 1, 2, the problem is this becomes 7 and 9, which is not 5 away from each other. Therefore, this cannot be 1, 2. This must be 4 and 5. Since this is 4 and 5, what are the rest of the cells around this quad? It has to have a 7 or 9. So this is 7 or 9. And this is 7 or 9. Let's see. So where is the 3 now in row 7? It has to be one of these two cells over here because it can't be any of these. Therefore, where is the 3 in box 7? It has to be here because it can't be here and it can't be here. This cannot be 4 or 5. So the 4 or 5 in column 4 have to be here. And this can't be 5, obviously, because of that 5. We have a 4, 5, 6 triplet. Well, that doesn't really help much. We know 3 has to be one of these 3 cells because of these 3. This is 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. This obviously can't be 2, 7, or 8. So this is 1 or 9. One of these is a 7 and one of these is a 9. And this is 7 or 9. So the rest of the row cannot contain 7 or 9. And we already eliminate 4, 5, or 6. Therefore, this has to be 3 with 1 or 2. This has to be 1, 4, 5, or 9. And this can't be 5, obviously. The 5 has to be one of these two. This has to be, oh, okay, this has to be 1, 2, and 6. So since, and this can't be 1 or 2, therefore this must be 6. Which means neither of these can be 6, but we have a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair now in column 1, so the rest of the column cannot contain 1 or 2. So therefore this has to be 3, this has to be 9. 9's only in a 1, have a difference of 5 with 1, so therefore this is 1, this is 7. This can't be 1, this has to be a 2, 3 pair. This can't be 9, so this must be 7. And since we have the 7 now here around this quad, this must be 9. So this is 9. This can't be 9 anymore, so this is 1, this is 9. There's no 9 in any of these spots, so this can't be 9. This has to be 1. So there's no 1 or 9 here. And these can't be 1 anymore. This can't be 3 or 6. But it still could be 5. But where is a 3 now in row 9? It can only be here. And now that leaves 6. Where can the 6 be in box 7? It has to be here. So this is this is 5 or 4. This could be 4 or 5, but those 4 and 5 eliminate it, so this must be 2 then. So this has to be a 4-5 pair. We have a 4-5 pair now and a 1-2 pair in column 1. So the rest of the column cannot contain 1, 2, 4, 5. It can't be 3, 6, or 9. Therefore, this is 7 or 8. This can't be 3. This is a 4, 6 pair, which leaves this to be a 1, 9 pair. This is 4, 5, and 4, 5. This can no longer be 2. Okay. This must be, these 3 cells must be 3, 5, or 7. Well, it can't be 5 because 5 can never be on a German whisper line because 5 is not 5 away from any other digit. 5 is 5 away from 0 or below, and 0 is not normal Sudoku rule, normal Sudoku digit. And you can't, or 10 and above, which are not digits. So this cannot be 5, it cannot be 7, therefore this must be a 3. This can't be 3, this can't be 3. If this is 3, it can only be next to 2 other unique digits on a German whisper line, which is 8 and 9. Therefore, this must be 8 and 9, and this must be, and this must be 8 or 9. So one of them's 8 and one of them's 9. Which means we have an 8, 9, 8, 9 pair in the rest of column 7. So therefore, the rest of the cells cannot contain an 8 or a 9, and it can't contain a 3 or 6. So it must be 1, 2, 4, 5. This can't be 1 because of that 1, and one of these must be 2, so this can't be 2. Therefore, this must be 4 or 5. This can't be 7 anymore, so this must be 8, which means this can't be 8. So this is 2 and 7. This can't be 3. We have a 4, 5, 4, 5 pair in row 9, so the rest of the row cannot be 4, 5. It can't be 2 or 7 either, therefore it must be 8 or 9. This can't be 9 because of that 9, so this must be 8, which forces this to be 9. That can't be 9 now, so this must be 4. These can't be 4. So it's 5 or 9. This is in a 1 to 2 ratio. It cannot be 3, 6. It cannot be 4, 8. So it's either 1, 2 or 2, 4. Either way, there has to be a 2 here. So 2 is here, and it's either with 1 or 4. This can't be 5. Where is the 5 in column 7? It has to be here. So this is 5, which forces this to be 4, which makes that 5. This now becomes a 1, 4 pair. This has to be 1 or 4. This digit is consecutive with these two, so it must be either 4, 6, or 8 to be consecutive, but it cannot be 8, so this is 4 or 6. We have a 4, 5, 6 triplet now in row 5. So this cannot be 4, 5, or 6. It cannot be 3, 7, 8, 9, so it must be 1 or 2 here. This is also consecutive with 5 or 7, so it's 4, 6, or 8. It cannot be 4 here, so this must be 6 or 8 then. This is the lowest digit this can be is 6. So for a Renban, it can go from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, but it can never reach 1. So this can never be 1. It could be 2 or 4. So that's still valid. Again, this cannot be 4, 5, or 6 in column 6 because we have a 4, 5, 6 triplet here. And we have a 1 and a 9, so the rest of the column must be 2, 3, 7, and 8. But this can't be 2 or 3, this is 7 or 8. This could be 2, could be 3, it could be 7 or 8, actually. All of those are still valid. This can never contain a 9, because if it had a 9, the lowest digit this can be, or the highest digit this could be, is 4. But then 4 only makes a set with 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 as the highest. So it never contains a 9. Well, it can't be 9 because anyways, that's a 9. Anyways, the rest of this row is 1, 6, 7, or 8. But it can't be 8 here. Therefore, this is 1, 6, or 7. This is 1, 6, 7, or 8. That's fine. This cannot be 1, and it cannot be 9. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Actually, all of them are still valid. But 2 cannot be here because we know the 2 has to be... the 2 in row 7 has to be one of these two cells. Since there's a 2 here, that means the rest of box 3 cannot contain a 2. So what does that mean? Also, for this set of consecutive digits, it's either 4, 5, or 6, or it's 6, 7, and 8. Therefore, either way, it contains a 6. So this cannot be a 6 here. So if this is 4, 5, and 6, how does, if this is 6, 7, 8, how would that work? Well, this renren would have to have a 6, but we know this can't be 6 because of the 4, 5, 6 triplet. This can't be 6 because of that 6, and therefore one of these is 6. That 6 would eliminate any 6 being along this line. So this cannot be specifically 6, 7, 8, because there's no possibility to add another 6 on this renban line. Therefore, this can't be 6, 7, 8. Therefore, this must be 4, 5, and 6, which makes that a 7. This 4 makes that a 1, which makes that a 2, which makes that a 1, which makes that 2. These can't be 4 again, obviously. Therefore, this must be 4. This can't be 4, so this is 5, which makes that 4. This 5 makes this a 6, which makes that a 5. So this is 5 and 6, which means 5 can't be here. This can't be 4 anymore, so this must be 1. This can't be 1, so this is 4. No 2. It makes that a 3. This makes that a 2. This can't be 1, therefore this must be a 2, 4, 2, 4 pair, which means 2 and 4 cannot be in the rest of box 3. So this can't be 4, can't be 5. Well, we already knew that. This has to be a 7 or 8 now because of what's been eliminated. Well, why can't it be 3, actually? This should be able to be 3. I don't know why that can't be 3. Yeah, somehow missed. I think I took away the 3 accidentally. So this actually still could be 3. We need a 4 somewhere on this renban line because it can only have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as the most, and it could go down to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's the 4? Well, can't be here. Sorry, can't be either of these two, so this must be the 4. So this has to be 4, which makes that a 2. This has to be consecutive. Therefore, this cannot be 7 or 8 or 2, so it must be 3. So this can't be 3. Now, if this were not 2, 3, 4, if this were not 3, this would have to be a 7 or 8. So we have a 7, 8, 7, 8 pair now in row 2, if that's the case. But then that would force this not to be 7 or 8 because 7 or 8 is eliminated from the rest of the row. Therefore, this would be 2 with 4, 5, and 6 in 7, 8, which is not a renban. So this cannot be 7 or 8. This must be 3, which means it must be consecutive. Okay, so this can't be 6 anymore because of this 6. This can't be 6. This has to be 2 or 7 to complete the renban because it's either 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it cannot be 8. This can't be 4, so this is a 6, which makes that a 4. We have a 2, 7, 2, 7 pair now in column 6, which eliminates 2 and 7 in the rest of the column. So therefore this is 8, which makes this not be 8. This can't be 7, so therefore this has to be 1, which means this can't be 1, so this is 7, which makes that a 2 here. This can't be 2 anymore, so that's a 7. That must make that a 2. We have what's left? 6 and 9. This can't be 6, therefore this must be a 9, which makes that a 6. That 9 makes that an 8. That 8 makes that a 9. What's left in this column must be a 7. We have 5 and 8 left in this column. This can't be 7, so therefore that's an 8, which makes that 7. This 8 eliminates an 8 from here, so that makes that 5, this 8. This can't be 5, so this must be 9, 5, and now we're just completing it. This is 1, this is 9. This is a 6, and this must be 1. And that's how you Sudoku there. Yeah, always pretty fun. Megan 33 is definitely one of my favorite setters because of her Fog of War puzzle, or his. Their Fog of War puzzles. I'm not sure if it's a he or she because um, uh, the picture on their YouTube channel is a guy, but Megan's usually a female name. Anyways, this was fun because I love Megan's Fog of War puzzles because they always have really nice logic that flows very well. And this flowed very well too. Anyways, I hope you had a good time on this, and I'll see you next time when we learn how to Sudoku. Take care.